Good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare with Tsquare Talk. So I recently had a subscriber leave me a comment that had asked how I get my bacon grease that I cook with to come out so clean. So when I do in the morning cook eggs or home fries, I will use bacon grease. As you can see, this is my bacon grease. I put it in a pickle jar and I scoop it out and put a little bit in the pan. Some people use butter, some people use olive oil. I kind of like bacon grease. I like that bacon flavor. And so I'm going to show you guys what I do. The first step that I do in order to do this is I take my bacon grease and I just pour it in a regular cup. So I'm going to pour it in here and then I'm going to show you guys. So the first step is once I get a nice glass cup that can withstand the heat, I'm going to end up, hopefully I won't do this because I am tying up my one hand. Now at first, all you're going to do is just pour it all in the cup. This will just let it start cooling down out of the hot pan. I'm actually going to put this bacon back in the oven, let it cook for a little bit longer. Okay, so now I'm putting my bacon back in the oven. This is going to let it crisp up a little bit more now that I've drained all the grease out of it. The reason I do that, I like crispier bacon. If you didn't see my video on how to cook bacon in the oven, I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's simple. There's no mess, no cleanup, no work. You just literally just put it in the oven and do whatever you're doing. Now, we're going to jump back over to the grease real quick. Now, with the grease right now, a lot of the yucky, dark, messy stuff is going to settle to the bottom. This is a two-step process. I'm going to let it kind of cool off just a little bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit more grease into it, whatever I have left, and then I'll continue showing you guys the process once it cools off a little. Okay, so as you can see now, I've got all my bacon grease in the cup. That was the second batch of bacon grease I just put in. I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit. The cooler grease is interacting with the hotter grease, and a lot of little yucky stuff and basically dirty grease will almost sink to the bottom, and the lighter grease and cleaner grease will more come up to the surface. So I'm going to give it a little bit, and I'm going to let this cool off a little bit, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I got myself another clean pickle jar. Now, I don't like to put the new grease on top of the old grease. I kind of like rotating it. But what I have here is the actual bacon grease. Now, it's cooled down quite a bit. What I'm going to do, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in here. But I'm not going to pour the very bottom. I'm going to show you what happens. See how a lot of the yuck at the bottom? So if I'm going to mix it up a little bit now. That at the bottom, that's the yuck that will kind of spread. And as you can see now, we've got more of a clear oil. But I'm going to come back, I'm going to look at this again as it continues to cool. I'm going to put the lid on it so nothing falls in it. And I will be right back. And there you have it, guys. Once it cooled down a little bit more, the next thing I did, I put it in the refrigerator. And I actually keep my bacon grease in the refrigerator in a jar like this. Now, some people will say use mason jars. There's less chance of it breaking. Unfortunately, yes, this can break in this kind of a jar because it's not tempered glass. But I haven't had trouble yet, and if it does break, well, I'm just out some bacon grease, a little bit of a mess, and a jar that cost me nothing. So that's what I like to do. And look at that grease. I'm telling you, that is beautiful, clean, Probably extremely unhealthy. It is bacon grease, but it is extremely delicious. When you put this with your eggs to cook your eggs in, instead of oil or any kind of cooking oil or butter, this really gives it that bacon flavor. I'll use this in a lot of different recipes. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you want, you can share the video, but definitely leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Hope to see you guys again on Tsquare Talk. Take care, guys.